One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Welcome to Ahman Green's Gamer Lounge, and then we're going to eventually get the video or intro for Welcome Rico, the rookie, the father of two kids that run him and his wife ragged, or something like that. We'll come up with something.
That is true. That is
Big voice
true.
Bob would nail it. Yeah, Big Voice Bob would nail it for him. But welcome to the Gamers Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Ahman Green, along with Rico, the rookie. What's good with you, man?
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Oh man, so I'm doing good, by the way. Chat, I hope you're doing good. We got Ari. Oh, what's up, Ari? How you doing? He's coming in the chat asking me if I'm coming to his event, man. He's putting me on Front Street. Like, come on, Ari, you can't do that. That's not fair.
Ari, just the show starts. Just like, hey.
We gotta talk in email. What's good, Nick? And so, Ari, I'll get back to you on that because I got a crazy schedule coming up in the latter part of the year. So, but Ari, I hope you're doing well. Nick, you hope you're doing well as well. That was too many wells there, redundant. So you can't do that when commentating. But hey, it is. Well. So welcome into the podcast, like I mentioned, and we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff today. We got information from around the gaming space, from things going on with one of my favorite RPGs, CyberPunk 2077, and my other place where I love the movies, the plots of movies, video games, the plots of video games that are going on out in Hollywood. Stuff going on. I know what Rico will talk about here in a little bit, but we're going to check in real quick and see how everyone's doing. Right now, it's just myself and Rico the rookie. John is busy working his other job. He's a commentator for the Wisconsin ladies volleyball team. And I think most sports there. He does a lot of women's sports there. So good luck and safe travels for our man, John Audius, with his team up in, I think, was he in Minneapolis? Where did he say?
I think they're going to Minnesota.
So yeah, Minneapolis area.
So Minneapolis, because it's just,
it's big.
Nebraska took care of business. Nebraska took care of business against Minnesota. Already swept them, so it's whatever.
Yeah,
we'll see what Wisconsin could do.
Yeah, we got our lady volleyball player has been balling since I left. I'm glad I'm back and he's still balling. So
oh yeah,
I love it. So I was actually back up in Wizzy for the weekend. It was alumni weekend. Hanging out with my old compadres that we used to raise hell with each other in the locker room. So Brandon Dorsey was there, Santana Dotson, Gilbert Brown, Scotty Wells. And Scotty Wells is a fun dude that I say I took under my wing, even though that he was not a running back. I had Tony Fisher and Najee Davenport under my wing. But Scotty was an old lineman from Tennessee and a little bit of Irish in him. So he has a big red beard. And I remember his rookie year. So his rookie year was 2004. So that was my 5th year with Green Bay, my 7th year in the league. And so I
always forget that you started with Seattle.
Right. A lot of people do.
I always forget.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that. So I'm in the table about to get my ankles taped. And this happened for probably a month, the first month of the 04 season. Poor Scotty. So he would come out into the training room and be bloodshot red and practice hadn't started. And I'm like, Brett, what's wrong? Why are you mad? Because you look like an angry man because you're all red right now. And he said, yeah, man. He said, what's up with your boys? I'm like, what? He said, the guys in the raw offensive alignment. I'm like, you talking about Marco, Mike, Tausch, and Chad? He's like, yeah. I said, bro, they just trying to test you. They want to test you till they break you. And then once you break, then they can continue to rag on you, talk about you, do whatever to get under your skin. I said, just work this ride the wave. I said, that's all they're doing. They just trying to see if you are about that life. That's all. I say you could make it through it. You tough. I could tell you're a tough kid. You're an all-state wrestler, so I know you're a grinder. So just grind it out. But every day for a month, from Monday, sometimes we'll have practice on Monday, like a light walkthrough. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, he's coming in there, bloodshot red. I'm like, he's like, they keep messing with me, AG. I said, look, what I tell you, don't let them see you sweat. Don't crack, baby. Don't crack. You just got push. It. They just keep pushing through. I'm like, well, eventually you'll come in there and they're gonna say, hey, how you doing? They're gonna be actually happy to see you.
Yep.
Not in there trying to mean mug you and put you in an insane asylum, talking about you and your mom and your kids, because they were by diabolical. And like the three of them, the three-headed monster was Mike Wall, Mike Flanagan, and Marco Rivera. So they was kind of like the elder statesmen. They had been around a while. They were on the Super Bowl team as free agents and rookies, so they had been around a while. So between those three, and then Mike Flanagan's parents, I found out that his mom and dad worked for like the Boston Globe or the New York Times. So they were editors, and writers, and so very opinionated, obviously being from the East Coast. Even though he went to UCLA, I think he did that to rebel. And so you're dealing with a guy like that. Then you're dealing with Mike Wall, my guy. This is my dude. Mike Wall, when you see him, he looks like the resident badass of the house, of the building. He has tattoo. He got this nice tribal tattoo on his one of his arms, and he just tatted up, bald headed. You know, he looks like like a Mad Max character. You know?
Yeah, he's the dude you don't mess with. He's the dude you walk into the bar, you see him, and you're just like, when things start popping off, that's the guy you need to watch.
Either watch him or run away from him. That's what. Yeah. And then Marco, he was the guy. He'll kill you with kindness and then stab you in the back with some comment later on. So he's dealing with these three guys, and then Mark Tauscher and Chad Clifton. Chad didn't say a whole lot. He wasn't. I love him to death. This is out of love. He wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he was our guy. You know, he was that guy. We have, everybody has one that he's there. He does things, and we were trying to like, hey, he came out late, he bumped his head or something. We love him to death, though. And then Tausch was a little smart ass. He was smart for his own good. So he's dealing with these guys, Scotty Wells, and I'm telling him the story, and he's looking at me now like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the most hardest part of my life right now. So I was like, I get it. So I stopped. I saw his body mechanics. I was like, all right, let me finish this story off real quick. So I had a good time back home. Right. So I had a good time listening, seeing Scotty, seeing some other guys like Earl Dotson, Santana Dotson, James Sean Jones, and then some of the older Lombardi era Packers were there. Dave Robinson, who just went into the Hall of Fame a few years ago. Jerry Kramer was there, who went in a couple years ago as well. And I think a few others. So, but it was just great to see who, everybody showing up. A lot of guys that were, in the 80s and the 90s. Lynn Dickey, he was a quarterback from the 80s. That's when the Packers had a rough time. And Jerry Hill was a running back along with him. So see them guys come back every year for the alumni. Marv Fleming, too, a Lombardi player. It was pretty cool, man. So it's having a good time back in Wisconsin. So now I'm back in Nebraska, and we got Michigan coming this weekend. So what's up with you, Rico? How was your last week?
Well, I was going to ask you, were any of those Hall of Famers letting you know how to get your Hall of Fame speech ready? What you got to put in there, and how many jokes you throw?
True. No, I did not ask that question. I will once it's official. Like when I know if it's next summer or the summer after that.
When you get that knock on your door.
Yeah, when I get that knock on my door, that's when I'll call them up and I'm like, hey, Dave or Jerry, help me out here, because this is the speech of all speeches next to after you win a Super Bowl speech. It's that talk that has to nail it. You got to say every word out your mouth has to kind of be that word that solidifies and follows you into the Hall of Fame, and then you get your bus.
You can't stop.
Exactly. I got to work on that, which I'm working on that now, if you haven't noticed. So
there you go.
So what about yourself, man?
It's work, man. Work. That's what we moved into the new building. Like I said last time, we're down here on 11th and O Street down in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska, just a couple blocks away from Memorial Stadium. So it's been nonstop work coming in and doing the shows, helping everybody get things ready, putting together some sounders and stuff for student athlete shows, some new shows starting up left and right. We've got new people coming in. We have Waffles in here again today. So I told you they were coming in today, and you didn't.
I believe you. It's not that I didn't believe you. I just forgot.
You just forgot. They might come next Wednesday, so I'll let you know.
I will be available. Send me a text message, please. Tuesday night.
Okay. We'll do the podcast together in the room here. John will be left out. We'll leave John out. He'll have to stream in.
We got to get better on the internet if they want me. If I come to that building, because
you're not wrong. We're working on that as well. But no, it's just a lot of work. KJ, my kids are little hellions, and we're going to soccer tomorrow. But KJ yesterday fell at daycare and bit his tongue real bad. I didn't know how bad it was, and I got home and I go, "Hey, buddy, let me see your tongue." And he puts his tongue out, and I was like, "Oh." And he goes, and I go, "No, you're fine. It's okay.
Don't cry. You're good." I used to do that.
I was like, "It's not that bad. It's not that bad."
That is definitely in the parents' book of things you must do as a parent. If you have a little kid below the age, I say 10 and below, and they're that kid, they're real sensitive. So anything happens, it's a cry fest. You got to have that mood that what you just did in there. You have that protocol. You're okay. You're good. Start. Yeah. Like distract them from the pain as many ways
that's just what
as you can.
That's what it is, especially with babies. If they fall or if they hurt themselves, you just got to be like, "Oh yeah,
you're good."
Because
you're good.
They don't know. They fall and they look at you for like assurance. Like, is that supposed to hurt? What? And if you're just like, "Woo, good job, hooray!" They're like, "Oh, okay, I'm good."
You got to major. What's that? Go ahead.
If you sit there and you're just like, they fall and you're just like, "Oh no, are you okay?" They're like,
It's that major pain. Remember Major Pain? He said, "Give me that finger." He said, "I'm gonna make you forget about your leg." Pop.
Yep.
We ain't gonna do that. Don't do that to your kid. Don't break their finger.
No.
If they twist their ankle, don't do that. We're not authorizing breaking your son or daughter's finger.
I've convinced my daughter that when she falls outside and she like scrapes her knee or something,
mm-hmm.
I tell her every time she falls, she goes, "I got an ouchie." I go, What are ouchies that we get when we play outside me? She goes, "So we're playing hard." And I go, "Yep, we're having fun."
Ooh, I like it. Like a little coach protocol right there. Ooh,
I'm just like you. I was like, you fell because we're playing hard. We're having fun. That's what it is. So
nice.
She goes, "I got this because we were playing outside." I go, "Yeah, you did."
That's like a badge for her now.
So we're working
that's
through
how
that.
she takes it.
Yeah.
All right.
Toughness.
So got it. All right, man. Thank you for sharing that. Let's get into this. We are sponsor here. And then another thing, Rico, we are on LinkedIn right now, my LinkedIn channel.
What?
So we're on Facebook Live. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. And now we're on LinkedIn, bro. We're everywhere. And I think one other place called Maestro.
LinkedIn?
Yes, you are on LinkedIn. So with being on LinkedIn, we can ask for sponsors. And we got our sponsor already, Bet Online. So I'm going to go into the Bet Online read. So we know football is back. NCAA, big upsets. NFL, blowout 70-20, unfortunately. If you're a Broncos fan, you're not having a good time right now. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan, you're like Super Bowl, baby. So BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. So you'll always find the latest odds, team matchup, players news, game trends at BetOnline. So as your continued source for sports wagering information, BetOnline featuring live betting, free contests, giveaways all season long, and always the fastest and the easiest way to bet on your favorite sports and sporting events, whether it's NHL, NFL, MMA, and then soon NBA, and then Major League Baseball. We got playoff push going there, boxing, golf, and esports. So it's like what you did about 13 fingers right there.
All
13.
the fingers.
You did all
Everything.
The fingers there. So there you go. A lot of sports. We'll just say that. So head over to betonline.ag to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. I said 50% welcome bonus on your first time doing this thing. So make sure you use that promo code BLEAV to receive your rewards. And you know what, Rico, BetOnline, where the game starts. So with that, JFK, yeah, esports betting, it's out there, it's real. It's something that's been around. I know for me, I found out about online betting, esports betting in like 2018 or 2019. I was like, what? I was like,
interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I can't. I don't do any sports betting because I am bad.
Yeah, I don't mess around with you.
I'm not good at picking things. I'm not. That's why I'll just lose all my money.
I'd rather put my money into the video game disc that I buy, consoles and PCs, because then at least I know where my money's going and I could use it and I could utilize it. So headed over to quick hitting news bites. I'm super excited. Rico, you wasn't on the show when this game came out, but you are now. And when this game first came out, I was so butthurt because CyberPunk 2077, I was so hype about it because I went to E3 that summer, the previous summer in 2019, saw Keanu Reeves come out on the stage to introduce the game. So I'm like super geeked. And then the game is glitched up because it's during COVID when it finally launched. And so it never got completed. So now it's been big updates over the last 3 years since COVID. And now the game is pretty much running full speed. So you could go over to gamesradar.com to read the article here about the new update 2.0 for Phantom, for Cyberpunk, and the new DLC Phantom Liberty, as you read on your screen right there, and all the nice little fun things they added to it. They have, new graphics. They have added more Hollywood big time actors to this DLC, to this game. They have my man Idris Elba, aka in the game Solomon Reed, is a FIA agent, sleeper agent. So he's undercover, under all the covers. He's very bad. He's one, I guess, being Idris Elba, he's probably the anti-hero because you know him as an actor, you love him as an actor, good or bad. So he's an anti-hero. I'll classify him as that. So it's the normal spy espionage satire. You got a dark bar. You got Idris in this purple dark suit, and you're sharing drinks with everybody, with these high profile people, some good, some bad, pretty girls here. Like you see the cyborg right there staring at you. I don't know about the cyborg thing and getting ready to try to spit game to that. That just it's a robot. I don't know. I'm not. That's the part of the game. I'm like,
spit game to a robot.
I can't spit game to a human being. I don't have game. I don't know how my wife. I did it with my wife, but I guess might have been the looks. So that probably helped me out that area.
You just gave it a look. You just look. You said,
hey,
she's like,
okay. There we go. So, but in the game, they setting it up kind of like a James Bond, an Escape from New York type feel, or for better yet, my game or movie of the movies is Blade Runner, the original with Harrison Ford, and even the new one they did with Ryan Gosling not too long ago, a few years ago. So you got these big time actors in it. You still have Keanu Reeves' character Johnny in the game, and then you have other little tidbits that they add to the DLC and to the update. You have an exclusive, I'm not exclusive, but you have a relic tree where you could then build things with extra spy-like powers to add to your character, to your avatar. And remember, you're in this place where it's cool. So you know how it's cool to get a tattoo, right? In this game, it's cool to get something technology put on you. So you could be basically, by the end of the game, you could be more robot than human. You see what I'm saying? So it's cool to put, like, to get your hand cut off, and then now you have a hand kind of like Luke Skywalker. You got metal hands, shoulders, and everything. Like like the lady in the picture there, she's like human face, but the back, you can see her back here. That's all metallic. So I
would get my hand cut off, and so I would get a robot hand.
Right. So that is the thing in the game here, and the pros here, as you see on the screen, huge amount of content for the modest needs, and then said the cons there needs more tutorial for new features, because sometimes some games don't kind of tell you everything that you need to do or how to do it. And because I know when I first started playing the game, I got a little lost in trying to upgrade my body, help make myself more stronger or my reflexes faster. So you kind of have to search and find those little tutorials, but eventually you'll figure it out. That's what we do as gamers. So it's not too hard, but they can make it a little bit easier. Another pro is they got a new thriller focus, brings fresh gameplay opportunities, and an excellent intro to the new update. And like I mentioned already, Idris Elba. For the ladies, there you go. Thank you to Project Red bringing that in here. And then also, just like any RPG game, so similar to GTA, because I know you play Grand Theft Auto, Rico. I know you played that in your lifetime, and then JFK.
You can't call yourself a gamer if you haven't played Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. JFK was a BR facial. I'm pretty sure you played any of those games. And so just like in those games, you got to kind of creep and crawl around the popo, because when the police are around and you're doing something wrong, They on you like flies to you know what. Okay, so don't commit no crimes in front of the police. Just don't do that in the game. If not, unless you
that last little part of it. Don't commit crimes in front of the police.
Don't do it in front of the police because they will get you because they got a higher awareness added to them with the big update. So that means you could probably sneeze wrong. They're gonna arrest you. You know, you're gonna probably you could spit some gum on the ground. They'd be like, pick it up with a gun pointed to you. So in the game, be particularly careful around the popos. So like I mentioned at the start, I'm super excited about this CyberPunk 2077 update and DLC add to the game. And I was able to, another tidbit before I pass it off to you, Rico. I was able to download, this is from my Xbox One. I bought it when it was still Xbox One. I was able to put it in my Xbox Series X and it still downloaded and boom, it went right in. So it wasn't nothing where it was an issue. So cross-platform from Xbox One over to Series X, not a problem there. It's just another pro for you if you're a fan of playing CyberPunk 77. So I'm done with my story, buddy. What we got here, Rico?
So, let me ask you about CyberPunk 2077 because I never ended up playing it, but I remember watching some people that played it, and it was bad when it first came out. However many years ago it was 3 years ago when it first came out.
It was not good.
Has it just slowly gotten better? And now does it seem like it's, if you take the DLC out of it, just with all the updates, now does it seem like a game that if it was released, if this version of the game without the DLC was released today and you didn't have it back in 2020, would this be one of those where you're looking at it and you're like, this could be like game of the year material?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Before the glitches, because I had probably put a good 3-4 hours into the game. And I kept coming across when I started it could be a campaign mission or a side mission where I gotta go get the bag from some criminal and bring it back, and I get half the bag or whatever, the half the money. I completed like several missions, and then when I would go hand in the completion, you had to go to a waypoint. I got to the waypoint and it was nobody there. And so that part was where I was like, every time I did it, me, I'm just like, it's going to fix itself. Maybe it's something wrong I did wrong. So I went back, repeated the mission again, and then the same thing. Nothing at the waypoint. I even went to find a door that went underground under the street to see if it was just under the street in the game. Because it's an open world. So, a lot of doors open in open world games. And it was a glitch in CyberPunk. So it kind of course, disheartened me in playing the game and picked up other games. Ragnarok, Spider-Man was around that time as well. So just moved on from that. But now it's back, and now it's all pushing out on all cylinders. So I'm super excited. Got it, like I say, downloaded the other day, put the disc in, and it just started updating. I'm like, super excited.
I know one of the things that I was seeing on Twitter about this new with the updates and everything is and I don't know if it was in it to begin with, but the difference of going from inside to outside, there's no loading screen as there is with some other games. Like with Starfield, it's, massive open world. But when you go from inside a building to outside, there's still like, 1.5, 2 second loading screen. But with CyberPunk, you'll go from inside a building to outside and it just, the doors open, the sun is shining and things are happening, no loading screen, anything. And you just walk right out. And I think that is something that's really impressive with CyberPunk, even with all of the bugs and the glitches that they did have, is that they were able to get that part of it down where you could do something like that and not have to worry about loading in and using the technology that has advanced so far and is able to handle that kind of implementation with these video games.
For sure. So I think is it Gosling or Goosling?
It's Gosling. You said Goosling. You were on a roll though, so I was just gonna let you know.
Stop me if I'm on a roll. You have my permission to stop me, Rico, in chat. So it's Gosling?
Ryan Gosling.
Okay, because I hate saying people's name wrong because people destroyed my name when I was a kid. So Gosling, sorry about that. Thank you, BR and Rico, for that. Yo, you just stopped me in my tracks. Say, hey, Jim, slow down.
You were rolling, and I was like, Goosling? I was like, you know what? Nope, let him go.
Gosling, please. Sorry, Ryan, if you're watching this. I hope you are watching it because you are a gamer. That means you're real. You're watching my show, so I apologize for that. And then JFK says, it's the implant shop. It's a DLC or a new game. I don't know.
It's a deal. It's a DLC. The Phantom Liberty. I think it's a DLC. Yeah.
Oh no, the Phantom Liberty. Yeah, that's a
That's a
DLC for
DLC.
sure.
I don't know.
That's
about
DLC.
I don't know.
And we had ER says we all knew there would be issues. We all played Witcher 3. Yeah, I didn't play Witcher 3 until last year, so it was actually working.
Yeah, I played like 5 hours of Witcher 3, and I was like, "This is fun, but it's not for me."
Yeah. So yeah, I like it because I watched the series that came on Netflix with Henry. If I say his name, Cavill. That's why I stopped. I was like, let me think about his name because I always say Cavell.
You're
say Cavell or Cavill.
It takes it'll take me a little bit to get some of these people's names right, but I'll get it down.
No, don't. And BR, don't let it slide. I gotta know my words. I gotta enunciate properly. So don't let me slide on that. And then ER says the update to the new engine. Yes, it is. CD Project Red is doing their thing, getting everything fixed up. And then JFK says if CyberPunk top RPG with FF or Fallout and GTA, Final Fantasy, Fallout, and GTA, I would say up till now, yes. I said with the update, it has that quality of gameplay. Yeah,
I say with the way that people are talking about it online and how much love it's getting now after all of these updates, I would say it's getting up there with those if it's not already up there.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it was extremely hyped before it even came out, and then unfortunately with COVID hitting and things getting real weird, and they released it before it was ready, all the hype kind of died down. But you see people playing Starfield. I've seen at least 8 people who they're not like professional game reviewers or anything, but they play a lot of games on my Twitter, and they've played CyberPunk and they played Starfield. And before this update and this new DLC, they were giving Starfield like 10 out of 10. This is great. This is the greatest RPG I've ever played. And then they go back, they play Cyberpunk with Phantom Liberty, and they're like, hold on, I'm going to drop Starfield a little bit because apparently I didn't remember what it was like to play a 10 out of 10 RPG shooter game. And that's what they're saying Cyberpunk is.
Yeah. And I like it because, for one, I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves. Even though at first I thought he was like the main character that you play, but you create your character just like in Starfield and like in Baldur's Gate. So, but I knew he was, once I played it and found out he's still in the game, I was like, either way, I like it. They sucked me in with that bait right there. They got me, but the gameplay now is definitely worth it. So if you have this game, re-download it to your Xbox One or Series X, and please play it. It has all the bells and whistles of what it was scheduled to release in 2020, and it's back out now. So it is good. So JFK Glass, little regards to Cyberpunk. He said, I love Cyberpunk story. It's a lot of details into it. Yes, it is. You have your factions of, upper class, lower class, but they have their names. So I got to get back into it to remember the names.
I'm gonna have to play Cyberpunk. I might have to see if I can get my hands on that.
Yep. Hey, I got the disc, so if you got a Series X, you can borrow it after I'm done.
I don't have an Xbox. I'm a PlayStation guy.
Oh, I think it's still on PlayStation. Right?
I don't know if it is.
I don't know if it's an Xbox exclusive. Somebody in chat, if you could clarify that'd be great. So I'll pass it. Chat always knows. Sorry, Rico, I will pass it off to you.
All right. So if everybody knows, it's been 130 days since the SAG-AFTRA writers' strike kind of initiated, and they have a tentative deal starting today where the writers are going to be able to go back onto the shows and start writing again. I know The Last of Us season 2 is starting writing and production and everything today as the writer's strike ends. But with the writer's strike ending, another strike begins with SAG-AFTRA as the SAG-AFTRA approves a video game strike against the video game industry. This last Monday, union members voted 98.32%. 98% in favor
That's a done deal.
Of a strike authorization against 10 major video game companies. 34,687 members casted ballots representing only 28%, 27% of eligible voters. So 27% of the voters voted 98% for the strike. This means that they're shutting down, or they're shutting down all of the writing for video games until they can get a new deal done. But not necessarily. It's not necessarily a work stoppage. They're working towards, getting a deal done. And this is a quote from SAG-AFTRA president Fran Drescher. It's time for the video game companies to stop. Yeah, and yes, it's that Fran Drescher. It's time for the video game companies to stop playing games and get serious about reaching an agreement on this contract. The result of this vote shows our membership understands the existential nature of these negotiations and that the time is now for these companies, which are making billions of dollars and paying their CEOs lavishly, to give our performers an agreement that keeps performing in video games as a viable career. Now, they're striking because there's, threats and obviously they're not being paid as much as they believe that they should be paying, but there's things that they're using artificial intelligence and apparently basic safety precautions are being
AI, chat
for some
GPT.
of these people. Look, AI is ruining a lot of things, but a lot of these things are going on and messing with the writers and the voice. It's the voice actors really that for video games that are getting really upset with these things. And some of the big names in the video game industry that are going to be in line for this potential strike. And I know a lot of the people in the chat know some of the games that these companies make. Activision, Blind Light, Disney Character Voices, EA, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac, Epic Games, Take-Two, VoiceWorks, and WB Games.
Wow.
Negotiations began back in October of 2022, but they haven't. The union says the companies have refused to agree to acceptable terms to come to something. So, again, there's no guarantee that this is going to shut things down, but this is very big in the video game industry because look, the writer's strike for movies and TV shows lasted 130 days. You weren't getting, aside from things that were already done, nothing new was getting recorded. Nothing new was getting written. So for these video games, outside of things that are already done, if there's any video games that were still in production,
they're
by
not,
any of those companies, they might shut down.
They might not get completed. I mean, it makes sense now, maybe because I look at it like this in terms of the last month, how many big game drops it was this month. Yeah, Mortal Kombat came out last week. They reset that series. Starfield, Cyberpunk, we were just talking about 2077 with the Phantom Liberty down DLC. Baldur's Gate 3, NBA 2K, Madden. Oh, those are annual. And then now we got Modern Warfare 3. Hopefully that still is on slate to still come out in November, I guess. So, man, a lot of big companies, a lot of big names. And it just, to have this happen, I mean, this is much striking as maybe NFL, NBA leagues, because it's just sometimes, I guess, the people behind the scenes, people in New York or people in Hollywood that are paying and writing out these checks, they forget how this whole ecosystem works. Some of my football agent told me years ago, obviously was like, Ahman, you play hard, you play good, you make the Pro Bowl, you're going to get paid good money. But also it's like, if I don't play good, then the fans don't sit in the stands to pay the tickets to come to the stadium. So that was like, clearly, that's the obvious thing, as a pro athlete, you're sort of an entertainer. A lot of guys don't look at it that way. And obviously it's not our job to entertain, it's our job to play football. But in a way, in a sense, it's an escape for a fan to go. So just like it's an escape for us to go watch these movies, go play these video games with the voiceover actors that are AAA Hollywood, A-list actors, Idris Elba, like we just mentioned in Cyberpunk, and now they're not paying. We saw, up on the website here, Jason Sudeikis from Ted Lasso. So hopefully I said his name correctly. I know I'm bad at that, but still great actor. And, he's picketing. And when you see that, it just shows you how close and tight knit the Actors Guild are, making sure they have each other's back, the writers as well, because the writers is what makes the actor, and vice versa. The actors would make the writers, because if you have a great actor, they could take an average writer or writing and make it sound fantastic when they act it out, and vice versa. A great writer can take a young actor or actress and make them just pop because they read and teach them how to read it and the words on their paper for their script, for their dialogue, the proper way, if they have a good director and a good writer part of that film. So it all works hand in hand. If you don't have one, you don't have the other. And I think that's where a lot of places like Hollywood, like professional sports, sometimes miss that. And then as consumers, but all the time, we pay for it because eventually games potentially may not be made or movies may not be made.
Because the thing with, especially with these video game voice actors, is not a lot of them are, outside of if you actually pay attention to who's acting these voices out, who's putting their voice behind these characters, a lot of them aren't household names. These aren't, popular famous actors who are putting their voices in these video games. From time to time you'll get some cameos with some of these actors, Idris Elba, Keanu Reeves. They'll throw their names and their voices into these video games that they care so much about. But a lot of times, a lot of these voice actors are just that, voice actors, where maybe you've heard them in, a separate video game or in a cartoon or something, but you wouldn't, sometimes you can't even tell that it's the same person because of the way that they're able to change and train their voice to do all of these different things that, they need to be paid fairly and they need to be put in suitable work conditions so that they can perform and bring in this money. These CEOs are making billions of dollars. You would think that they want to put some of this money back into the actors and the voice actors and the people who are, doing the lights and all the production stuff for all of these things so that they can continue to rake in this money. Because look, you hear it all the time. That's one of those things. You have to spend money to make money, but it's true. If you don't spend money on all of these good actors and these great voice actors and these great, production people, you're going to get subpar stuff. You get subpar stuff, people aren't going to go watch. And if people don't go to watch, you're not making money.
No. And I'll say on another note to wrap this up, in the video game space and the esports space, these same developers that make a ton of money when they launch big games that are coming out, like Spider-Man 2, like Baldur's Gate, like Starfield, and for the esports point of view, where you got some of these leagues dropping employees, where they're not orchestrating leagues and seasons no more for even at the college level to the pro level, eventually, if you don't start collaborating with the colleges or with the esports orgs out there, from Evil Geniuses to FaZe Clan to 100 Thieves, just like the NFL, the NBA, the Major League Baseball, they have collective bargaining agreements. And that collective bargaining agreement means, as a sponsor, as Microsoft or as Nike or Adidas, we're going to share our revenue with you so we could grow together. Because we know if we don't do this, if we basically silo this thing and just do it by ourselves, one side of the ecosystem is going to die. It's going to wither out. It's going to dry up because there's not enough funding to pay the esports pros that are around the world. So Riot, EA, Activision Blizzard, Epic, the list goes on of developers that make billions of dollars every month. When they do game launches, they make 80 million in a day. And you're telling me you can't partner with the esports orgs that are out there, that are in the Overwatch League, that are in Call of Duty League, that are in the Madden Championship Series, that are in the FIFA Championship Series, Rainbow Six over in France. You tell me you can't band together to make sure these leagues stay that can maintain and sustain, to have pros coming from around the world in these games. You telling me you don't have enough money to do that? So I'm saying, I'm shouting out to all the big AAA companies. You need to do this, because if not, esports is not going to eventually be there anymore. And if it's done the right way, our great grandkids are going to be talking about esports 100 years from now, just like we're talking about the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, because that is what is going to take for esports to sustain. And this is another topic. It's a little different, but it's not much different than this topic here, with the writers striking for games, for movies, because they got to have their just due and they got to work together. Big CEO, Paramount, New Line Cinema.
I mean, if you just
Viacom,
think about
all those companies that pay the bills, basically, let's go. Best.
If you just think about if those video game companies would actually put money back into the esports, side of things, where it's these groups and these people, all these millions of people who come out to watch these games, watch these people play these games. If those companies put more, and maybe they're putting some money in there, they're allowing them to play their game, whatever. But if they put some money and actually would kind of put a focus on the esports side of things, they would be able to grow their game so much more. Because if you, again, not make it exclusively towards esports, but if you make it in a way where it's slightly catering, not fully to the esports side of things, and you're just like, hey, you do this, we can, come up with sponsorships or come up with, they're putting some of the prize money up for these esport tournaments. Like that would be a way to gain more fans, gain more people into these games, because they're looking at it like, wow, like, EA is actually putting, $1 million into this prize pool for the winners, second place, third place of this tournament that they're having for Madden. Like, this is crazy. You get to be invited to, the EA Sports area, and you get to, get the game first before anybody. Like all of if you put that into it and maybe focus a little bit more on the esports, like you said, maybe our great grandkids will be talking about esports the way that we're talking about, football and basketball and baseball, where it's a legitimate sport and it's something that people tune in to watch.
100% there, Rico. So, and Master was asked a little caveat here for the CEOs need to keep their multi-million-dollar contracts intact. Yeah, they want to do that, but eventually they're gonna stop feeding the beast. The whole machine is gonna dry out. So,
at some point, like, you have too much money,
right?
Like, you can't. If you're making, $5 billion, I don't know, $5 billion a year or $500 million a year. Like, what are you spending all of that on? You're not going through all of that.
No.
$1 million isn't going to hurt you.
You're right. But
yeah, if you're going through $500 million a year, you need to check your spending.
You got spending issues there. Oh man, but no, this is a great conversation. We could definitely finish on other shows that we'll have down the line this year. But let's get on over to that fun conversation, to this or that. We go and
This
chat
or that.
All right, so we got the list of this or that. So like we're flip-flopping between this or that and the best thing we found on social. I saw, if you have any feedback on that, I think it's going pretty good. And if you want to give feedback, I failed to mention, jump into my Discord. If you look on the top, I'm on my Twitch screen right now. It says join in my Discord, the hashtag or exclamation point, and then Discord. You can jump in there and become a greenie. So if Ryan Gosling is in the chat watching me lurking, please join into the Discord, please, Ryan. I said your name right this time, so help me out there. But let's get on to the this or that.
I am Kenneth.
Like I said, jump in the Discord if you can, if you want to help out. And we had a couple viewers this week help us out with the this or that. So first one up is from my man Eeyore in the house. We got to get with Eeyore Rico. He will help us with Starfield and Baldur's Gate in terms of rambling around the land and learning how to play that game. First this or that is from him. Here we go. It's a good one. You might like this one, guys. Nerf football or air hog? Ooh, I grew up. I'll start here first. I'll say my time when I was a kiddo was definitely the Nerf football. I had several of them. My dogs occasionally would get a hold of them, and then they'll be destroyed when I come home from school. I was like, Mom, what happened? She's like, your dog ate it. That's your problem, not mine. But yo, I'm gonna go Nerf. I'm gonna go. That's sorry, son. But I'm gonna go Nerf. I'm Nerf football. What about you, Rico and chat?
Growing up, I had multiple Nerf footballs, and they would always, I don't know why, but they would always have a bite taken out of them. It wasn't the dog. I don't know who did it. It was probably my cousin. Whatever. Right. But air hogs, like all the things that they made, so much fun. The little race cars, little plane, like everything they had was so awesome. But I think I'm gonna have to go with the Nerf football, though, especially the one with the little tail. And you could just launch it as far as you could. Like, you felt like you could throw it across a football field. Like,
it made it more aerodynamic. Yeah, it made it more aerodynamic.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, I could launch this. And everybody thought they were a quarterback for like 2 weeks when they had that. They're like, oh, I could do this. I could be a quarterback. I think I'm gonna go with the Nerf football.
Yeah,
the one with the tail that whistled, says Nick. Yeah.
Yep. So we got Nick, also Nerf for sure. I had Nerf football. I think I had a Nerf baseball, and you had a little soft bat. It was a lot of Nerf items out there. Nerf guns. Nerf guns are very popular now for like pool parties and everything. Mm-hmm. And what's that? Nick said, the one with the tail that whistled. Yep, that one. So fun. It's so back in the day where we could actually go outside every day and do something constructive with our life. As the parents used to say to you, go touch grass, little boy. Go outside. Get out of the house. I learned how to throw.
You're either inside or outside. Stop wasting my
Inside or outside. Yep. Stop wasting my air. And JFK said he learned how to throw with the Nerf. Yes, it is. You could grip it. It's not too heavy like a actual football and everything. So
did I, because
a lot of good old memories.
With the football, I thought that you were supposed to. So the laces, I thought your fingers were supposed to go over all the laces, and I was like, "How do you throw this?"
Well, it goes on. Yeah, it depends.
No, but I thought your hand went over I thought your hand went over like the middle. So like all the laces are in between your fingers. Like this was all the laces, like right there. Gotcha. I thought that's how you're supposed to hold it, and I was like, "How do you throw this?"
Some quarterbacks held it that way. Like Troy Aikman, he held it right down the middle. He had his hands were that big enough to cover just all the laces on there. So it's a preference, just like your keyboard renderings on your keyboard or your controller as well. So next item on the list, a good oldie but goodie, Dream Hack or GameCube, Nintendo. So Sega Dreamcast, sorry. And Nintendo GameCube. I'm all over the place this morning. It's too early for me, even though it's 10 o'clock.
Dreamcast is like OG, like, loved it. But man, GameCube had some of the most fun games that I have ever played. Like Fire Emblem on the GameCube was fantastic. Super Mario Strikers, all the Mario parties, Super Smash Bros. Like just the most fun games that I've ever played probably came off the GameCube. So I think I'm gonna have to go with the strangest, weirdest gaming console ever made.
It was strange. It was kind of
with the tiny little CDs,
little CDs that went in there.
This is a tough
one. Yeah, this is a tough one. Yeah, and it had the handle too. I was like, oh, it's practical. It's functional. This is a tough one for me. Like I said, I'm so passionate about gaming. Every system had a few games, or even the controller, or like you said, the handles on it. So Sega Dreamcast. It was Power Stone for me. Anybody remember Power Stone? It was a fighting game. I used to play that all the time, because I just got traded to Green Bay from Seattle, so that's what I was grinding on. The Power Stone and NFL 2K, and I was playing that game not only because it was a football game, but I was playing it because I did the motion capture for the wide receiver, running back, defensive back, and linebacker. So if you have that game, if you can still play that, that is me as Randy Moss. But so I'm all the receivers, I'm all the running backs, I'm all the defensive backs, and I'm all the linebackers on that game. That's my body type.
That's you.
That's me.
Wow.
NFL 2K on 2K from 2K Sports. I remember they're flying me into San Francisco, took me over to the Redwood studios at Sega, and I was like, I'm living the dream right now. I said I could do this all the time.
That is funny.
Please do it. So I'm gonna go great. Dreamcast, because even though I had GameCube, I'm not discrediting that at all. There was some good games on there. Smash Melee was on GameCube, I think, and a few others. But that Dreamcast had a little with the Power Stone. It was between the motion capture, but then Power Stone game that was so fun to play. So,
dude, I'm just telling you, if anybody had Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on GameCube, you know what I'm talking about. So much fun.
Yeah, big time fun there.
And now if you try to buy it on like Amazon, it's like $300.
Of course. It's classic.
It's ridiculous.
It's like stock. It's like the stock market, man.
Because I found my GameCube at my grandma's house, but I couldn't find my game. So I was like, oh, let me just go buy it real quick. I went on Amazon. I said, hey, excuse the hell out of me. I'm not paying $300.
Hey, I had to give it up though. My on my wife's side of the family, Uncle John, he's in his basement one day clearing out stuff, and he's like, Ahman, I think this is something you might like. It looked like a console I bought for our kids a couple years ago when they were little. And I look at it, I dust it off, and it's a PS1. I'm like, yeah, I will take that. I was like, how much? He said $300. And I'm like, I'll take it. I was like, I kind of thought about it for a second, but it had games with it too. It had 2 controllers and it had 10 to 15 games. I said, yes, please give me that. I am not letting that go into the garbage. He was about to throw it in the garbage. I'm like, no, nice. Uncle John, no, it doesn't work that way. This thing
ridiculous.
I have it in. I brought it with me to in Lincoln, so it's in the garage right behind me. So one day, Rico, we could jump on it, and I got TVs that we could play on it. Yes. All right, next one item on the list. Yeah, next item on the list: Star Wars original trilogy. So that's New Hope, Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, or the prequel trilogy: Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, or Revenge of the Sith. This one's a big one because I know some haters. They do not like the prequels. I know it's a ton of people.
We could lose a lot of fans and friends
on this one
with our choices here.
Right. This is sketchy right here. This is sketchy territory we're walking on right now.
Oh, now okay. The OG trilogy is just it's classic. It's fantastic.
Classic. It's like the Mona Lisa. You can't
love it.
Duplicate those three movies ever.
But the prequel trilogy sets the I know people dislike a lot of things about it, but it sets the stage so well.
It's beautiful
for what happened.
George Lucas,
in
Steven
the
Spielberg.
Trilogy.
Oh my God, guys. Thank you very much for that.
It set it up so well. And I know people don't like him. I understand.
Yeah.
But man, when I tell you that I'm a Jar Jar Binks fan.
Yeah. He's funny. I like him. He was comic relief. But every other friend was like, I hate Jar Jar Binks. What's wrong?
Yeah, I hate him.
Why they put him in the storyline? I was like,
I'm like, no, love him.
He's cool.
And I think it was great. Hayden Christensen got a lot of unnecessary hate for
really?
playing Anakin. Yeah,
of course.
A lot of unnecessary hate for playing Anakin. He played him so well that people disliked him.
That's good. People don't realize that's a good actor.
I think
great
I'm
actor.
Gonna go with the prequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The way you were going, I thought you were gonna go OG, but I'm gonna go OG.
Nope.
So we balance this. We gotta even out the force.
There we go.
I'm evening out the force. You're prequel. I'm OG. But not that I don't like the prequel trilogy. I do. But if I got to pick, and we're picking now, I'm gonna go OG. And the reason why I'll tell you. You got it? Or I'll tell you a quick story.
We got Samuel L. Jackson as a Jedi. So
true. And it doesn't get better than that. The king of MFing becomes a Jedi.
Exactly.
It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't get better than that. But I got a story to tell. One of my cousins, my cousin Shelly, she was one of my older cousins, took me to see Return of the Jedi when I was like 4 years old. I'm barely walking and talking, tying my shoe. She takes me to a theater here, Indian Hills Theater. If you people remember that in Omaha, Nebraska, shout out to Indian Hills Theater. Went to see Return. She took me to Return of the Jedi. I thought at that time, at 4 years old, my whole life had changed. Because I already knew about Star Wars Episode 1 or Episode 4, New Hope. Mm-hmm. I watched those two, and I watched that and Empire Strikes Back on HBO every time it came on. So to me, I was a Jedi. I was a Padawan in training. And then when I saw Return of the Jedi, I was like, I'm Luke Skywalker. I came out the theater. 4-year-old mom was like, I'm Luke Skywalker. Get out my way.
You were just
I was going, get out my way.
Okay. Serious question. You have to answer honestly.
Okay.
When you go to stores with automatic doors, do you?
Every now and then, I do. I say, be on with yourself.
I just open the door.
What was the one line they say in the movie? We are not these robots, or something like that.
Oh, no, these are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, these are not the droids you're looking for. I do that. Yes, I do have done that several times in my life. Walking into Best Buy, walking to the grocery store, I say, yeah, these are not the robots you're looking for.
And with the prequel trilogy, every once in a while, I'll just say hi to somebody, and I'll just hello there.
Yeah, there is always what is it? What does a Yoda say? There is never try. Is always do.
It's do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, do or do not. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. I love the little green guy there. He's my little green uncle from another galaxy far, far away there. I like this part. When he does that, I do that when I'm doing it with my kids or my wife. She's doing something silly. I go, She's like, shut up. I'm like, you gonna tell Yoda to shut up? All right, next one on the list. How dare you just tell Yoda to shut up? All right, next one, Star Wars. Because there's a lot of this in Star Wars. Space combat. the aerial scenes with the fighter jets, and the X-wing, the H-wing, the Y-wing, fighting the TIE fighters, or the peaceful exploration, as you've seen in some of the prequels where Anakin goes to Tatooine for the first time, and you see Han Solo traveling through from all the movies. There's that time where they're going along and they're showing the big Milky Way or some black hole.
It is. So. Are you asking which one I'd rather watch?
Yeah, or be a part of. Watch.
Combat. If I wanted to watch and I'm at a safe distance and I can still see it, space combat. If I had to be a part of it, give me the peaceful exploration.
Hey, you and everybody else in the
chat. The space combat is chef's kiss. Yeah. The sound effects, the lights, just everything about the space combat in Star Wars is just the best that it could ever be.
Yeah, because remember the scene in Return of the Jedi where Luke is in there talking to the Emperor. His dad, Darth Vader, is off to the right, and he's trying to get Luke to cross over to the dark side, and they're watching. He's like, "Look at your fighters. We're destroying a rebellion," or whatever he says. And Luke is just like, he's looking, and he's a little distressed. He's like, "Oh my God, we're losing. We're losing." But wait a minute, I'm a Jedi. I'd be like, "Hold up, man, you better shut up.
Hold on.
I'm Luke Skywalker, bro. You ain't not about this. Like you standing next to my daddy."
He said, "You know who I am. What are you doing?"
So I'm about to go space combat too. I do like the peaceful explorations where it's kind of show us things the graphic artists have done for the Star Wars universe, but the combat, the fightings are always cool to see, the screaming, the yelling, and it does I drop a little tear for every space fighter that gets shot down. When I see it, they be like, and they always the scene where it's just their face and you see everything burning up behind them. I'm like, oh my God,
that is the worst. I'm like, what are we doing? They're just like, I've been hit, and it's just,
I'm going down. I'm like, oh no!
I'm like, what is happening?
Not another one. I'm like, dang, another one went down. All right, so space combat won that one out. All right, last one of this, and this is trick. We got Halloween right around the corner here, so we got creating a custom character or using a pre-made character costume. So I'll answer this right away. For me, I'm not that creative. I'm not the creative one in my family, so I'm gonna go using a pre-made character. So I will go pick up something at the store that was already put together, and I just got to put it on. There you go. What about you, Rico? What about you, Chad?
So the last couple of years, we've had family costumes, and we've kind of had to, bits and pieces get things and put it kind of together. So it's like pre-made, but we still have to miss. So I guess it's custom-ish. And I've just really enjoyed that so much. Just putting together a costume with my family, and the kids are one thing, and me and Rachel are another thing. So I think I'm gonna go with. Plus, she's super creative, so I just ask her, "What do you need me to do?" And she's like, "Here, go do this," or "I got this. Don't worry about it. Just keep the kids busy." So I really like the custom character.
Yep, because it looks good. It looks better. Better. Like I said, I'm not no cosplayer, as Ear mentioned that. So pre-made I can't do that. I'm not good at that. I mean, I could probably follow instructions. Somebody gives me like a layout of building out a costume, because I know Tiger Lily, who I stream with, she is awesome at doing the cosplay stuff, putting them together. She does TikToks where she makes a whole outfit from a Final Fantasy character, and it looks so dope, delicious. I'm like, what? I wish I could do that. I wish I was any artfulness in my body.
Cosplayers are different, man.
Yeah,
like the amount of
about
dedication,
that life, they about
time and money that they put into those costumes, ridiculous.
Yes, indeed. I have this problem too, JFK. Custom costumes never fit me correctly. Yeah, I have that problem too, homie. I can relate.
Yeah, me too, because I'm short.
And I'm big. You're short. I'm big. Different. It just doesn't add up. So, all right, we got the this or that down. Done. That's facts. Speaking of facts. So let me get everything set up for our game releases of the week. We have some fun stuff to talk about. Oh, a game I can't wait for you to talk about. But let's get the intro going first.
It's time for the game releases. Game releases.
Oops, I gotta hit the
It's
button.
time.
I always forget that. I gotta stop the button.
It
Because
happens.
it'll keep on going. But here we go.
Just keep it going.
Keep it going. Here we go. All right, Rico, here you go. This is your game.
All right. So out of the games that you gave us, I looked through them, and Relic Hunter's Legend looked like a really fun game to me. So Relic Hunter's Legend, an upcoming top-down looter shooter from Gearbox and Brazil-based developer Rogue Snail, created for PC. Their focus is that I don't really know how to explain it, except for you get to have these characters that you can they have like their own specialties, but the way that the game works is you can customize each one of them to fit your play style. So depending on how you want to play the game, you can customize each character to fit however you want to do that and get through this game. So they have, 7 different characters named. Now I'm going to say that Bew, the shape-shifting scientist, Panzer, the raging mascot, who's in like a squirrel costume, Wrath, the party engineer, Ace, the rogue donkey, and he's actually like a donkey, Jimmy, the crackshot rebel,
walking on all fours,
Pinky with 2 eyes, the fearless leader, and 7, the mysterious time traveler. So you're going through, you get all of these, again, looter shooter. So, and it's made by, Gearbox is a part of it. So, they're really into making different types of guns. If you've played any of the Borderlands games.
Oh, yes, indeed.
So again, you get to customize each of these characters as you're going around trying to collect all of these things and getting through the missions.
Ooh, big fun. I say the look of the game brings me back to my Saturday morning cartoon TV shows. I was like, I'm down for this. I always dreamed about that too. It's like, I would love to play a video game of Smurfs or Snorkels or what was another Saturday?
There's like different things that you can do in the game.
Right,
skirmish, scavenge. There's like a payload type thing where you capture payload and you can guide it to the end of the level. So if you've played, it's in a bunch of different games, but if you've played,
that sounds like Overwatch right there.
Yeah, Overwatch. It's like that, where they have this thing that you can stand on, and if you're in the zone, it's moving. But if there's enemies in the zone, it stops, and you have to defeat all the enemies, get back in the zone, and keep it moving. So that, like I said, there's multiple different aspects to the game that you can continue to do. So, like I said, skirmish, scavenge, payload, defense, distraction, exploration, and delve. So you get to you're free to explore the mini dungeon, but it's dangerous, and there's a bunch of bosses that you can beat. To challenge the final boss, you need to find a boss key, and you have a limited number of lives. You get an extra life for each boss you defeat. If you run out of lives, the mission is over.
Gotta manage those lives. Always gotta do something.
And yeah, like you were saying, like the way that it looks is very Sunday morning cartoon.
Scooby Doo.
Sit down and just some show comes on that you've never heard of.
Or
Scooby Doo, but like some show comes on and you're just like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm interested.
I'm definitely interested. Or when all the Nickelodeon cartoons started, Nickelodeon with Doug.
Oh yeah.
Rocco's Modern Life. What's the Ren and Stimpy? The classic Ren and Stimpy. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's what I
this
feel
is
here.
This is very like the new age Cartoon Network design.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and look, this isn't to take away from this game at all, but like the new age Cartoon Network where like all of the cartoons kind of have like a similar look. That's kind of what this one looks like.
For sure. That was, like I said, it took me back to 1989, 1988, waking up early on Saturday morning, make sure I didn't oversleep. I didn't have no alarm. I still would just pop up around 7:30, turn to Nickelodeon, turn to CBS, ABC, catch the Transformers or G.I. Joe, Smurfs, Snorkels, GoBots. What else? Scooby-Doo. Trying to think what else. All of it. So awesome.
We've been watching a lot of Scooby-Doo in our house lately.
Oh, you being a good parent there. You're raising your kids right. You and your wife.
Well, we found it on, it's like Tubi or whatever. and
free
it's
TV.
free.
Yes,
Yeah,
free TV.
and the
That's
kids,
always good. Free's always good.
The kids love it.
Free's always good.
Yeah.
So we got something big here. It's not quite free, but it's FC soccer. EA Sports bringing in the FC 24. Since the deal didn't get re-signed by the other company, I don't know if I could say their name, FIFA.
You could say it. Yeah, you could say it.
So now we don't have FIFA. It's still EA and it's still soccer. So that's the one thing. It's on all platforms, including your Switch. It comes out Friday. So they have a new era for the world's game. They have 24 Ultimate, the EA, or I say FC 24 Ultimate Edition that came back out in August. So you could get you get a F or UEF Championship League or UEF Women's Championship League Ultimate Team Hero item on November 27th. And then also discover the most true to football experience in the hyper motion, just like they brought to Madden, the field sense that gives you more ball control, more dribbling control. And then, of course, when you try to bend it like Beckham right there into the net. So you have play styles optimized by Opta and revolutionized Frostbite engine that is running all these players' AI that you are controlling with over 19,000 authentic player moves. Like that right there. Another bend it like Beckham. I know the guy with the ponytail. I just can't think of his name. I watched him play in the World Cup last summer. I know he's a fantastic player. You know, so that is up right now, and you see all the little things you get for pre-ordering, which I love the way EA does that. If you give you a little something if you pre-order the game early, you get FUT points, which is the football ultimate team, jerseys, what have you. And I would take it back to the start and see if I can pause it real fast. Right there, we got some of the character names. I'm gonna try some of these names, people, so bear with me. I got Marta.
All right, here we go.
Marta is the easiest one on the list so far. So Marta, Marcus Rashford from England, Rudy Valor, if I'm saying that correctly, from Germany, Pele, I got his name. I know that.
There
name.
you go.
And you got to help me with this one. Zinedine Zidane.
I think it's Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine Zidane.
I believe.
Zinedine from France.
Zinedine Zidane.
And then Bukayo Saki from England. Adrian Pirlo from Italy. Mia Hamm, I know that name. Johan Cruyff from Netherlands. Alex Scott. Ronaldinho. I could say that name all the time. Ronaldinho.
Toro.
Alexandra Pop. Enrique Leme, if I'm saying that correctly, from Argentina. And Didier Drogba. I think so. If you're looking at Didier Drogba. Lacey Santos, the same. I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to keep murdering myself here and the same name. But that is the line. So if you go on to FC website, easports.com, check it out. It has the row of names of people that are in the game, standing here in this part of the video that is paused for you, and you can check it out. And like I said, you got more EA points or for your FUT teams. You could buy the jerseys. You could just play regular games like me. It's like I live the franchise life. I don't want to play the franchise life. But if you are a franchise player, they have that in here too. You could create your own football club and then grow it from the bottom up into a fantastic World Cup winning organization for you. So FIFA or EA Sports FC Soccer is out now, and Relic Hunters, go check it out. It's on Steam, so I'm definitely gonna have to play that. We like indie games too here. So I'll let the video run one more time for FC 24. Brought to you by EA Sports, and Frostbite Engine makes the graphics, makes the characters look even more real. And then let's let that run. There you go. He's a bad dude right there with a ball when he's kicking the ball. So you get to move around with realistic action, realistic gameplay, and you see the real life to hyper motion transition right there. They did a little trick with the camera, and you got all the dances too. I wish I could play soccer like this, but I could do it in FC. I could do it in FC.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I always look at and I see these moves whenever I played FIFA, and I'm just like, oh, I could do that. And then I get in the game and I go, Nah,
Man, I'll twist the ankle so fast.
There's like so many like the stick movements and everything, and I'm like, I can't do that. And then you like, even in real life, you're like, oh, they just like, it's a quick little dribble between the legs, do this. Like, that doesn't look too complicated. No, it's very complicated.
Yep. I could be a goalie. I could be a goalie for sure. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I will jump faster and a little higher, so I know I can make it happen.
So you can have mixed teams in this one now. So you can have Mia Hamm passing to Ronaldinho.
Exactly. I just saw that too. I was like, how much anybody pick that up? But you got co-ed teams. I'm down for that. That's what I got to do in the esports world. Got to mix it up.
Exactly.
Got to have fairness across the board.
I'm looking up why it's not called FIFA anymore, and I don't know why. Oh, the light just turned off in here.
Well, it's one because they didn't sign the deal. They didn't re-up with EA Sports, so that's why it's no more FIFA 24 or 25. It's FC, so Football Club. EA Sports FC 24. That is the main reason why. So, or I'll say one of the reasons that I'm very aware of. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So, you can not watch Ahsoka, but we're going to start watching Ahsoka next week because you have a house full of little people that are dominating you like the Oompas.
Yeah, I don't get to choose what we watch.
Exactly. I remember that life. I remember that life where the kids dominated TV from Nickelodeon to the Disney Channel to Boomerang, all the child content out there that you needed to have on TV. Because if it didn't, you're going to have some grumpy little kids. But what we are going to do is next week get caught up on episode 1 and 2 of Ahsoka on Disney Plus. Master and Apprentice. That was the first episode, man. I can't wait till you watch it. This series so far has been full of great cinematic scenes that we were just talking about, from original trilogy to prequel to Rebel Wars, or what was it? The Rebel series. That was the cartoon series, to Clone Wars, that you're going to see is like, oh my God, this series looks so good. So another golf clap for Disney Plus, bringing together another series. And then after this, we could probably knock this out pretty fast and get into Loki season 2, which is going to be also on Disney Plus. We could talk about that.
Excited.
That one, I'm so excited. So we got Ahsoka. We're going to start talking about next week. Then the following week, or I'll say then after we're done with Ahsoka, we'll fall right into Loki and all the mischievousness that he's causing in the multiverse. So it's his fault.
So excited.
Just blame Loki for a lot of stuff in the multiverse.
You could blame Loki for a lot of things, and you'd probably be right.
Yeah. But here you go. Rico from Eeyore. He said FIFA wanted more money. Plain and simple. Makes sense. Basically. Yeah. And then JFK, here's a shout out to you from JFK. He said, I don't know. I'm not letting little kids dominate the TV.
Look, JFK.
Hey, once you get kids, JFK.
Everybody says. Yeah. That's what everybody said. Everybody says all these grand visions for before they have kids. Let me tell you something.
He got situated in his seat.
Before they have kids. I'm not going to let them watch a screen. I'm not going to let them dominate the TV. They're going to eat what I make. They're not going to eat junk food. They're going to listen and be respectful. They're going to do this. They're going to do all this stuff. But once you have kids and your ears are bleeding from 2 hours of nonstop screaming, you're like, you know what? Fine. We won't watch football today. We'll watch Spider-Man. I don't care. I'll watch football on my phone.
For the 100th time. You forgot that part.
You read a book to them. You're just like, I made this delicious lasagna. And the kid's like, I want chicken nuggets and Doritos.
I want Fruit Loops.
They throw the lasagna on the floor. They're screaming at you. And finally, you're like, you know what? Hey, here's your chicken. Here's your Dino Nuggets, your Fruit Loops, and your Doritos. And they take one bite out of all of it, and they go, I'm full. And you get very upset, but you love them with all of your heart.
That drove me nuts. I look at their plate, and it was still half full. I said, no, you better eat. You're not getting off this table. Mm-hmm. For all that hell you just raised, you better finish that whole plate. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you right now.
You're not doing this.
What?
And JFK says you got to scream louder than them when football is on and they look at you crazy. No, they don't. They look at you.
No, I've done that. I've done that a few times.
Then they scream louder, and then you get in a screaming match, and all of a sudden your neighbors are knocking on your door like, is everything okay over here?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I've done that.
you
It
know-
worked. I did it with my kids. It worked. I screamed at them. They started screaming. I said, ah, and they looked at me like I was crazy, and it was silent the rest of the game. That does work. It does. In some situations.
It's sometimes
kids,
it works. It won't work every time.
Right. Yeah. So no, we're not trying to convince you not to have kids.
No, because they are the best.
We just
They are the
get
best.
you ready mentally. So if you decide to, we're just letting you know what you're signing up for.
With
That's
all
it.
of that, despite all of that, when you come home after a long day of work, or you go to pick them up from daycare, and they see your face, and all of a sudden your son or daughter is just like, "Daddy," and they run up to you and give you a big hug, it's all worth it.
You just melt.
It's all worth it. And they just want to, when maybe if they don't feel very good, or if they just sit there and they're just like, I want to sit on your lap, or I want to cuddle, and you're just like, yes. Like, you're good.
He said, but I have a 1-year-old and I might be walking into the okie dokie, but I'll be prepared. Yes, you'll be prepared. It's going to take a lot to make me turn the Packers game off. Yes.
That's what you have a phone for.
That's what. That's a good one. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know how many times I sit there and I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch, Nebraska play for my job, and my kid's like, I don't want to. I want to watch Scooby-Doo, and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I put on Scooby-Doo on there, and then I just sit there with an iPad or my phone, and I'm just watching that. It's fine.
There you go. There's other options now. There's 1,000 Skinny Cat. There you go. You can survive your football Saturdays and Sundays with that mindset. Learn to adjust. And yes, Jordan Love, my fantasy savior. Yep, he's balling out.
I just picked him up.
Ooh, what? How did he get picked up? What? Nobody drafted him?
Nobody had him. I think I just picked him up in one of my leagues.
Hey, that's a unaware league right there. So be our facial before you jump off. Make them watch Husker and Packers. Then they can have it after that. Yeah, you gotta subdue somewhere. But I want to say thank you to everyone tuning in. Be our facial. JFK. Jeremy in here. Snore Dizzle came in a little late with the mac and cheese comment. I saw that earlier. And everybody on LinkedIn, thank you for tuning in. We are going to be streaming to LinkedIn for moving forward. And Maestro is another one through the NFL alumni group that NFL alumni media that I'm on as well. So shout out to Craig and Gus Farrat, Craig Richardson, Gus Farrat to help get that going, and Brian as well. So we're everywhere, Rico. We are everywhere. We're in the podcast ecosystem. So we'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel on like 5 different bat channels, because it's the big bat computer.
The bat channels.
It's all the bat screens. So there you go to watch some myself, Rico, and then John will be back next week, and we might have somebody else join us. I don't know. We'll see. And we got another comment from the chat says Nora Diesel says, yeah, 44 years haven't missed the Packers snap. Nice.
Wow.
That is dedication. That's a vested fan right there, Snore Dizzle. That's what I'm talking about. He said he'll watch it on the VOD as well. Watch the podcast on the VOD. Appreciate you, man, because that works too. Like us, follow us at the social media tags below. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Rico right there, Radio Rico AC. You could find us there. Subscribe, retweet, all that, share, whatever you do when you go into one of those social media apps, please do it. And if you want to come in and join the chat every week, please do that as well. So we'll be back next week, like I said, 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Hope you have your great rest of your week. Go Pack, go, and go Big Red. All right? That's how we're going to do this thing. Now I got to go and try to figure out all this stuff. I'm old.
I would say
there we go.
So
we got that.
Go Patriots, do your job, and go Big Red.
Go Big Red. Here we go. And we're ready for the pop music now. Here you go.